You're listening to the Dudes and Dads Podcast, a show dedicated to helping men be better dudes and dads by building community through meaningful conversation and storytelling. And now, here are your hosts, Joel DeMott and Andy Lehman.
Welcome to another exciting episode of the Dudes and Dads Podcast. I'm Joel, along with my good friend and, IT specialist and kombucha aficionado.
Wow.
Yeah. Andrew X Lehman.
X?
X because I just put the X in there because you've not disclosed your actual middle name, and I want to respect that. So, that's it.
Well, yeah. You may notice our sound is different today, and that's because we are coming to you from lots of different places this time. Like, Joel, you're out in Arizona. I'm still in Goshen, but I'm in my home, not in the studio. So we are doing things a little different today.
Yep, I am out on business, as they say, here in the greater Phoenix area. And Andy, I don't want to rub it in, but it was 92 degrees and sunny when I landed here. So, and
it was like a wonderful 38 degrees when I came home from work today. So
balmy. I'm sure it was balmy.
It was excellent.
It's a dry heat, as they say here. So
it was
well, hey, Andy, we should spend a little time catching up. So I think it's definitely time for everyone's favorite segment of the Dudes and Dads Podcast.
Hey, man, what's brewing?
All right. Well, hey, Andy, what's brewing with you, man? What's going on in life?
Oh, man, it's life has been just really busy lately here, between youth group and parenting and COVIDing. I mean, not COVIDing. We don't have it here in the Lehman household yet, but we are, just trying to navigate that whole thing. We talked about it a little bit on the last episode about positive parenting, and I'm still trying to do that, trying to keep the positiveness going here, because it's easy to not get positive, especially when you're thinking about an election coming.
Yeah.
Well, it'll have already happened when this episode is released, but yeah.
Right. Well, as we're sitting here, I'm strangely enough, my location I'm at right now, unbeknownst to me, I didn't realize this, is actually a polling place.
Oh, okay.
So I was told that outside of my door tomorrow will be a flurry of
people voting.
Well, yeah, of voting and a yard full of political signs. So, exciting times. I don't want to feel like I'm a doomsday kind of person, but I did have just a brief conversation with Jackie of like, if something really goes crazy or haywire while I'm down in Arizona, like, do we need like an emergency plan? And then I'm like, what am I saying?
Oh, man.
But it feels, I don't know, just a little bit strange to be away from home. I guess I've never thought about it being weird to be away from home during an election, but I am. And now
it's weird.
This year this time around it feels weird. It feels like we should all be, I don't know, at home holding hands, praying for whatever's next. So, but yeah, what's as far as with me and what's brewing, we are, I'm probably in that same boat, Andy, as we've discussed prior, trying to remain positive, have an optimistic outlook about what's going on. And, we are concerned, I know in our local area, we are concerned, that as far as like the public school systems are concerned, about everything staying open and all of that. And then, there's things about how it's affecting the youth that we minister to and all of that. And yes, we have our own families and we have other families we're connected with that we're trying to, it's a very much like a week at a time situation right now. And we're trying to continue to meet with students as best we can. And yes, just hoping that everybody extends a lot of grace and patience with everyone else. We just we gotta be gracious with each other.
Extra gracious right now. Extra gracious. One of the things though, Joel, that I'm looking forward to for our next episode is the fact that before this recording, you told me that you were going to be hitting up some local roasteries there in the Arizona, and so you were going to be actually bringing some coffee home.
Yeah, I'm checking out this place. Yeah, this Driftwood Coffee Co. that's just down the road here. It looks, as I said to you before we started recording, it looks a little hipster. It's a little hipster, but being in the Southwest where I am right now, what is hipster to us might just be regular down here. Right. That could just be a normal thing. So
I'm looking forward to that coffee.
Yeah, we'll see how it goes. Andy and I are, well, I should say, whenever Andy goes on vacation, he's just looking for a local kombucha joint.
That's kind of true.
They call them kombucha. Honestly, kombucha dens, I think is what they call them.
Honestly, Joel, I don't know. I just make my own. I don't seek it out when I'm.
That's right.
I don't seek it out on vacation, but.
Yeah. No,
I'm letting you down.
I was trying to make kombucha sound far more illicit than it actually is, but nevertheless, yeah. But I always like to find, we like to find a good coffee shop or two when you're out in the new territory. So we're going to give that a shot here, and we'll give you guys a review next time. So yes, let's see. I'm trying to think if there's anything else. Oh, Aaron. The other thing. The update is that Aaron is starting his winter workouts for baseball. That's new. That's fun. New for us. So he's like doesn't want to do any other. He doesn't want to do any other sports. And so it's like, well, we would like you to do something over the winter other than sit around, because I've got a real fear that this could be like, we've done a lot of sitting around for the last several months.
Sure.
Andy, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I just, so Josiah is swimming. That's going well. Aaron's going to be doing baseball a couple times a week. And Matthew, he's a mixed bag. He was going to do soccer and then decided not to. So we got to, I don't know, get him on some sort of training regimen or something, get him active. But anyway, that's us. We're hanging in there. Sounds like you guys are doing the same.
We are. So tonight we wanted to bring you a little bit of a new episode, because Joel, you said, I don't think we did this one like this last year, but you said there's officially like 45 days until shopping days.
As you guys are listening to this, right? You got 45 days of shopping
until
remaining before Christmas.
So we wanted to remind you guys that it is coming up. I mean, you're dudes, so sometimes, I know for me anyways, I wait till the very, 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 very last minute, and then I wonder why my gifts aren't very good. Because, I wait too long. So we wanted to kick your thinking into high gear and trying to get you guys thinking of some creative gifts for Christmas. So we're not going to tell you what to buy, but we're going to tell you a little bit of the things that Joel and I have tossed around for our kids. Because we want to try and think a little bit outside the box this time. So Joel,
yeah, and really, no pun intended, but there are things that are outside the box, because we're hoping. I think our goal ultimately is this, Andy, is that we want to provide lasting memories and experiences for our kids, for our families, and I'm going to make a commitment as best as I can. Because this requires less of us in terms of like, maybe a little bit less in terms of like, I got to go to these places and get these things, but it requires more of us in the terms of like, we got to plan some things out. We got to kind of invest some time and thinking, this sort of thing. So really the ultimate goal that we want to challenge all of our faithful listeners to, and Andy and I are going to be, we'll say prototyping an experience here.
Yes.
We're going to prototype an experience.
So let's not leave our listeners here waiting. Let's tell them kind of what we're tossing around. So I think, at least for our Joel, you have 3 boys, 1 girl. I have 2 boys, 2 girls. And so I think that this thing that we're talking about would apply to each and every one of them, and maybe not our youngest so much, but our older ones might be a little bit for it. But we're talking a little bit about maybe making like a kind of a survival gift, like maybe a weekend or something. I know that one of the things I've done in the past is I've had like a weekend away with my boys, and they really, really enjoyed that. Just me and them, that and their cousins, a couple of their cousins, and they really enjoyed that. It's one of the things that they've looked back on it. And for that, we just did a weekend where we were staying in the cabin at my cousin's cousin, someone he had knows, um, at their farmland. They had a little cabin, and we stayed there and swam and did. I mean, obviously, it wasn't winter when we did that because we weren't swimming in the winter, but we did that, did some fishing, just kind of an all around weekend, kind of camping weekend. So I think that would be a good thing to kind of to give your kids, is if you can give them I want to call it a survival weekend. But Joel, I mean, you had a great idea. Tell me about it.
So, well, what I'm thinking is like, and Andy and I, if we can put this together and work on it, this is like future episodes. We can document this. I think it could be really cool. Where we have like various a gift that we give our kids is like kind of a survival weekend challenge experience. So, for instance, like my boys and Andy, I don't know if you guys ever look into this. They follow these a lot of these vlogs that do like catch and cook challenges, kind of things like fishing. Sometimes it's a hunting challenge, but a lot of it's like fishing. It's like, okay, whatever I fish for, whatever I get, I'm gonna catch it, prepare it, all that sort of stuff. So I think we can like have them do like a fishing challenge, and like whatever they catch that they have to, they'll have certain resources available to them, but they'll have to like prepare a meal out of whatever they catch.
Are you saying that if they don't catch, they don't get to eat?
Well, see, here's what I think. I think they'll get to eat like Cliff Bars and things that are way less exciting. We will give them nutrients. We won't allow them to starve, but we want some level of like incentive, like, to try it out. I think also building their own shelter, where we would like set up, like we would give them like, here's the pack of items that you have to build. You can use whatever other natural resources are around you, but here's your pack of stuff. See what they do.
Yeah, this is really bringing me back to, we've been watching a lot of Alone lately.
Yes.
I don't know if you've ever seen that, but I love that show. So if you guys have never seen that, the premise is 10 people, they go out, they're all in the same general location, but they can't be close to each other where they can actually there's some sort of impassable thing between them and the other participants. So really they're alone.
Yes.
They're taking a camera crew. I mean, not a camera crew. They're taking cameras with them that they're self-documenting this whole process, and they have to survive. They get, I think, a pack of 10 items.
They can choose the 10 items,
and they're like,
and
approved.
This past episode is season 6. I think they just this one. What's happened is as more seasons go by, people watch, like the contestants watch the previous seasons, and they get smarter about what they bring.
Yeah, so we watched that season 6, and then Julie and I have actually been watching 1 and 2. So we're actually in season 2 right now, and it's interesting to see just how they're surviving. And again, this is kind of off topic a little bit, but
but we are, well, I should say both of our families are in love with this show, and it has sort of, yes, in my mind, inspired me a little bit to like, I wonder how we could safely do it, right? Safely replicate some of these challenges.
Right, because on the show, they're out there for probably 56, 60 days. I mean, it just depends on how long. And the thing is, they don't know. So if they're the last survivor, if they're the last person there, they get $500,000. And they have a bunch of safety equipment, and they have radios that they can tap out. But they don't have any idea if they're the first person, if they're the last person. They don't know.
Yeah.
And so they get to the point where, they get what I've seen, Joel, a lot of them lately is I've noticed is in season 2, you can tell before they're going to tap out, because they're usually come to the conclusion. They've done a lot of like spiritual, like thinking about this. They're
Right.
like,
Yeah.
they come to the point where they say, I've come out here to do all that I've done. I'm good with myself. I'm good. It's
Yep.
not worth it for me to be out here.
Right.
The people that I love are back there, and then they tap out. So
Yeah.
it's definitely an interesting show if you've not checked it out. I think some seasons are on Netflix, some are on Amazon Prime, and it's good.
And we should, and when we're if we do this challenge with our boys, we should.
I don't know that we. I mean, I think Reagan would be up for it.
Yeah, I think so. No, that's a good point. Yes, and I think, yes, but girls can do this too. Just to be very clear, this is not. We're
not.
I guess I'm thinking about. What I'm thinking about is Aaron and Micah, because I'm like, my mind went to them initially because they're the eldest boys and they're like all into this kind of deal. But
Yeah.
all of our kids, would be for sure. So, yeah, I'm just thinking like we could like document each of these challenges and it could be a killer good time. So listeners, you have this to look forward to, hopefully, as we in 2021, as we kind of plan this and talk through it and figure out. But
making our Dudes and Dads mini series.
Yes. Oh,
no promises.
The potential. I mean, Andy, the potential this has to either go to really take a serious left turn and take us to places we've never been before, or just to be flat out a lot of fun and amazing, could be really great. But the whole idea here is, though, guys, this is what Andy and I are talking about is, hey, as a gift, let's provide an experience. Let's build kind of this experience and offer up some things that our kids will really remember. Maybe a survival challenge is not. Maybe that's not up your alley. Maybe it's something else. But start now.
Right, and
you got 45 days to roll this baby out to somebody. Maybe it is some sort of. I guess what we're really advocating for is something that is experiential, that brings you together as a family. You have to spend intentional time with each other, in person.
And I don't think that physical gifts are bad. I think that they're fine. But, I look back and I have a house full of stuff here that in the long run doesn't really mean a whole lot of stuff. Yes, the kids play with it, but in the long run, those aren't the memories that they're going to look back on necessarily. Right. They're going to look back on the times that we've spent together, that we were able to do fun things as dad, son, dad, daughter, dad, kids, parent, kids. So I think that's, so Joel, let's brainstorm a little bit other ideas. Maybe this isn't up your alley to do this type of a survival thing. Are there any other things that we can think of here? And this is right off the cuff here. I mean, we've not talked about this before, but I mean, what are some things that other people can do that if maybe this survival type thing isn't up their alley?
Well, so first of all, part of it is I'm trying to think of as many things that are not COVID-19 susceptible, but that's hard.
Right, at this time.
Aaron and I, over the next how many ever years, we want to visit every major league ballpark in the country is a goal of ours. I've been to 8 of them myself, which Aaron's been to a few of those with me. But like, we want to do that. So maybe there's a common thing that you and your kids or your family share in common that you guys all like or whatever. And the whole idea is like, if there's a list of something and you guys like set a goal, like where it can kind of keep going, where you're like checking things off the list, or we've talked about like national parks,
and that's a big thing that we've done too. We have our national parks passport book. If you've not seen those other kind of cool books that you can get at any national park, that when you go to the national parks, you stamp it off, kind of like you would on a normal passport when you cancel out your passport stamps if you're visiting other countries. This is a similar thing, but it happens when you're visiting national parks. So all national parks have them, national locations. Sometimes you get multiple stamps at each location depending what's there. And so that's one of the things that we've done as a family. Julie and I share a book, and each of the kids have their own. and that's one of the things that we really look forward to, when we go to national parks, is we stamp those off. Another thing that we've done to kind of collect things, if you will, is we have a metal board that is the shape of the United States, and we've been collecting the state magnets as we go to each state. You can usually get those at like truck stops and places like that, and so that's kind of like we collect those in the locations that we've been to as a family. So that's something that we look forward to as a family. One of the other things that I've thought, Joel, and I don't know if you guys have ever done this, but we've mentioned it on the podcast before. Geocaching. I'm a big fan of geocaching. Haven't done it in a long time.
Yeah.
But it's if you've never heard of that, that's a high-tech scavenger hunt. A lot of fun. It just allows you to, with your phone, or if you have a traditional GPS, it allows you to put in coordinates and find stashes. Different people hide, and that word stash makes it sound illicit also. But no, like a user would go out and hide something like a Tupperware container or an ammo container or something of the like, post the coordinates on the website, geocaching.com, and then you go out and find it. It's one of those things that gets you out in the woods a lot. They're everywhere. So that you can, sometimes they're in the woods, sometimes they're in the middle of a Walmart parking lot. And
yeah,
and
that's what surprised me as a geocaching newbie. The few times that we've done it, like sometimes they're pretty challenging to find.
Oh yeah,
like you could have the coordinate, but like you're like, I got to be standing right on this thing, but where is it?
Right.
Kind of thing.
Yeah.
So,
or we've done some really good ones where you actually have to go up a pretty good hike up the side of like this hill or mountain to get to it, and that's one of those things that as an adult that I love. I mean, it's fun to do it even on my own. It's challenging. There are challenging parts of it, especially if you're out trying to find what they call a first to find, which is something where someone hides it and you are the first person to find it. Those can be challenging a lot also too, but it's something that we can do as kids or with our kids, and when we're on vacation, things like that. So that's something that you can do, and you can, for fairly cheap, and give them. I mean, I don't know that you could necessarily put that under the tree, but you could give them something along those lines. Either a GPS or a membership to geocaching.com. I mean, definitely you don't have to have a membership to geocaching.com. You can do it, free also. But those are some things if you do want to give them a gift, you can, and that would allow you to kind of create those memories as a family too.
Yeah, I mean, ultimately, we want to, I think, dedicate ourselves as best we can to, just not just giving stuff, but connecting our families together and doing, the experience. And man, I just see it all the time. Like the older our kids get, time gets harder. Time gets harder and harder to find. And I even recently, some decisions that I've even made personally, I have been, I think, more mindful of like, my kids are not getting less busy, or there's not less demands,
right,
on our time. And so I want to I've just got to prioritize when we have the opportunity of significant time together, then that has to come first sometimes. And so, maybe this Christmas season, this holiday season, could be an opportunity for all of you for the first time. Or maybe this is something that you guys do regularly, but we would love to hear from people.
We would. Joel, our voicemail line is 574-213-8702. Again, that's 574-213-8702. It's just a voicemail line. You don't have to worry about waking Joel or I up. You can also take out your phone, and every phone has that handy-dandy voice memo app. You can record yourself and then send it to feedback@dudesanddads.podcast.com. That's a good way to get us some feedback too.
Yeah, we would just love to hear if you guys have ideas for like some like out of the box gift ideas or things you could do for your family this Christmas. Yeah, we'd love to hear that. We'd love to feature that and talk about that in future episodes. So, yeah, Andy, I'm excited about this little journey, this little experiment here.
Yeah.
We'll see how it plays out. Andy and I did say to each other before the show, our kids will not be allowed to listen to this episode for a little while yet, so that they don't know what we're up to. But Andy, by the way, this gives us, I just also thought of this. This gives us another great excuse to get together and to plan this stuff out. and I think our wives will be like fully in favor of this. And they might even want to participate with us in like the planning or some of the ideas of what we could do.
Sure, absolutely.
This might really, Andy, this might accidentally be one of the best ideas we've had in a very long time. I'm very optimistic about the outcome.
Absolutely. Well, Joel, it's been great. You know, we are almost to the end of season 2 of the Dudes and Dads podcast. We have one more episode after this one, and then we'll be taking a break for Christmas because we want to spend some extra time with our families. And December is just crazy in general.
Yeah.
There's lots going on. So to kind of ease our recording schedule, we decided to end it after this next one. So you get one more episode after this one. And then we'll be back 1st of January here, first Tuesday in January. So I think
for season 3, Andy, can you believe it?
We have made it to 3. Well, I can't say we've made it to 3. We haven't finished 2 yet, but
yeah, let's finish strong.
Let's not count our eggs yet.
We'll gloat later, but yeah, guys, thanks for all of the support. Just remember, if you got an email, dudesandadspodcast@gmail.com. Would love to hear from you if you got anything. Leave us a voicemail. You can always check us out over at dudesandadspodcast.com for
all of our episodes,
all the goodies, the show notes, the whatever.
Also, subscribe in your podcast app on your phone because that allows you to get each and every one of our episodes as they come out.
Yes. Well, Andy, it's been a treat.
Yeah.
Thanks for making this happen as I come to you from distant lands.
As we satellite you in.
Yeah. You know, Andy, what we haven't talked about though, maybe this is the next episode thing, but we are also working on some, shall we say, aesthetic updates to the studio when we're back in the studio.
Yes.
So maybe we'll get to share that with people at a later time too. You know, keep people on the edge of their seats. Yeah. Yeah. Well,
awesome, guys.
Thanks for joining us, everyone. And until next time, we wish you grace
and peace.